Jehoshaphat succeeded Asa as king of Judah, and he really strengthened himself against Israel. He placed troops in the fortified cities of Judah, as well as in the cities of Ephraim that Asa had captured. The Lord was with Jehoshaphat because he followed David's early example and didn't seek after the Baals. Instead, he sought God, walked in his commandments, and didn't follow the ways of Israel. The Lord established the kingdom in Jehoshaphat's hand, and all Judah brought him gifts, so he had great riches and honor. His heart was courageous in the ways of the Lord, and he went so far as to remove the high places and the Asherim from Judah. In the 3rd year of his reign, Jehoshaphat sent out his officials along with Levites and priests to teach throughout Judah. They took with them the book of the law of the Lord and taught the people all across Judah. This really shows Jehoshaphat's commitment to a nationwide spiritual renewal and instruction in God's ways. The fear of the Lord fell on all the kingdoms around Judah, so none of them made war against Jehoshaphat. The Philistines brought him gifts and silver as tribute, and the Arabians brought him flocks. Jehoshaphat just kept growing, more and more powerful, and he built fortresses and storage cities throughout Judah. The details of Jehoshaphat's military leaders and their troops from Judah and Benjamin are listed, showing just how organized and mighty his army was. The total military force was presented as strong and well structured under Jehoshaphat's command. These men served the king, really highlighting the strength and structure of his reign. Jehoshaphat, well, he allied himself with Ahab through marriage. Then Ahab tries to persuade Jehoshaphat to go with him to war at Ramoth-Gilead. Jehoshaphat agrees, but he wants to seek the Lord's counsel first. So Ahab gathers about 400 prophets, and every single one tells him to go to war, promising him victory. But Jehoshaphat, he's a bit skeptical, and he asks if there's, a prophet of the Lord they can consult. Ahab does mention Micaiah, but he grumbles that Micaiah never prophesies anything good about him. So Micaiah is summoned, and at first he sarcastically affirms what the false prophets have said, but then he tells the truth. Israel will be scattered. Micaiah reveals a vision he's seen where God sends a lying spirit to deceive Ahab's prophets. After that, Zedekiah, one of the false prophets, actually strikes Micaiah, and Ahab orders Micaiah to be imprisoned until he returns safely. But Micaiah warns Ahab, saying that if he really does return safely, then the Lord has not spoken through him. Ahab decides to disguise himself for battle, while Jehoshaphat wears the royal robes. The Syrian army, thinking Jehoshaphat is the king of Israel, mistakenly attacks him, but Jehoshaphat cries out, and God helps him. Meanwhile, a random arrow finds its way between Ahab's armor, and he's wounded. He dies later that day. Ahab's death, just as it happens, fulfills Micaiah's prophecy. When the crowd hears Stephen's words, they're just enraged, gnashing their teeth at him. But Stephen, full of the Holy Spirit, looks up into heaven and sees the glory of God, with Jesus standing at God's right hand. He declares this vision to the crowd, sharing what he sees. The crowd, well, they cover their ears and rush at Stephen, dragging him out of the city. They begin to stone him, and the witnesses lay their garments at the feet of a young man named Saul. As he's being stoned, Stephen prays for Jesus to receive his spirit and asks God not to hold this sin against them. And then, calling on the Lord in faith and forgiveness, Stephen dies. Here are some questions to think about. Have you torn down the high places in your personal life? 2 Chronicles 17:6. Have you taken the courage to step out from the majority and pursue truth? 2 Chronicles 18 verse 6. Even when you deserve to suffer the consequences, have you humbled yourself today and cried out to God for mercy? 2 Chronicles 18 verse 31. Have you forgiven those who have been hateful toward you? Acts 7 verse 55.